all the rest of the summer. Call Aquaside at 1-800-328-9350 or go to aquaside.com.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Heidt in the newsroom, and of course, the Rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Sushiro.
Regarding the discussion yesterday about the absence of beauty in big public buildings or projects, Jesse wrote an email. He's got a great point. Our rich guys are in a space race. You know, Zuckerberg and Bezos and what the hell's his name? Elon
Virgin
Musk.
Atlantic.
Those guys are they're spending their money trying to leave Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not really spending their money decorating Earth.
What's that guy's name? Sir Richard Virgin Atlantic. I can't remember. Oh, look. He's one of the guys, too.
Branson, isn't it?
Branson.
Charles
Branson.
It's not Charles.
I bet they're related.
Charles Bronson.
You're thinking of Manson, you moron.
Oh, my God.
Charles Manson.
Richard Branson. Richard Branson.
I know what it is. It's Richard Branson.
Who was the tough guy in the movies?
Charles Bronson.
Yeah. That could be related.
I'm going to say this.
Have we started the show?
No. Are we on break?
Honest to God, help me.
I know.
Blois Olson wrote a piece today finding, actually, he's much kinder than I ever would be because Olson found positive things to say about Walz. I suspect that Olson is writing this in anticipation of maybe Walz getting the vice presidential nod. You know what? I'm warming up to that.
Why?
Because then we're rid of him. And he really can't. What can he do as VP?
We're not rid of him. It'd be much worse.
I know what Joe's saying. If he stays here, he's going to
So
be
I
voted
know
in
what
again.
he's saying. I'm not an idiot. It'd be much worse.
If he was VP?
Yeah. We don't
They
want
don't do
that.
anything.
You don't get Google-eyed Flanagan, who's got the dreamy eyes every time she looks at Walz. That's what you're worried about, Kenny? You'd get a Flanagan?
I'm worried about the country having to deal with Walz and the damage that he can inflict on a nationwide basis.
In any event, Olson has an interesting piece, but as I say, he's capable of being far more charitable than I am. I can find nothing positive to say about Walz,
Right.
although Olson is familiar enough with him to say that when he's sharp, and when he's on defense, his political skills falter. The problem, do we have we have some audio, and this I think Walz is saying the quiet part out loud. Kelsey alerted me to this. This is Trump audio on Twitter, but it's not.
Give me a second, okay? Because this is still loading.
It's not fake. It's him. There's a picture of him saying this, and I believe he was saying this in conjunction with something called White Dudes for Harris, a fundraising effort that basically involved the Hollywood elite, including, disappointingly enough, Jeff Bridges, for example.
Come on.
Who I've always admired, and I still probably will, but he was one of the white dudes for Walz. And during the White Dudes for Walz fundraising phone bank, whatever the hell they did.
A Zoom call.
A Zoom call. Here's what Walz said.
And
how often in the world do you make that bastard wake up afterwards and know that a black woman kicked his ass and sent him on the road?
Whoa.
That's not what I wanted to hear.
this is literally the clip you sent me.
I sent you two clips.
Okay.
That's quite a clip, though.
Oh, there's one. I sent you an email from Kelsey
Yep.
that has the clip.
Yep.
Is that the one you just played?
Yep. You did send me 2 emails.
Maybe the other one has it.
All right.
All right. You could just tell me when you're ready.
Joe, I am going to be ready in about 5 seconds. If you can just bear with me. All right.
But we can get out there, reach out, make the case. And for one thing, don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness. But we can.
There you have it.
One person's socialism
is another person's neighborliness.
No,
I think Walz is entirely committed insofar as he's capable of being committed to anything. He'll be committed to whatever he's told to be committed to. But I think he's capable of being committed to the socialistic turn that Harris would take the country. Yes, you in the back.
Can I repeat what I said before the show, before everybody dialed into you
Go to Pirates?
on the show?
You may.
Because I think it's important. Or have you turned?
Turn to what?
You got to get over it.
Get over what?
Trump.
I'm over it. I'm fine. Don't worry about me.
Because this is what's coming, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, but what's coming is so much hypocrisy that it's hard for me to digest. This white dudes for Harris. Now, I hate to play this game, but unfortunately, it must be played.
Yep.
Can you imagine if a bunch of Hollywood, does Hollywood even have enough conservatives to have a Zoom call?
Probably not.
probably not.
Well, let's say they did, and they called their event White Dudes for Trump. Can you imagine the outrage? Let me give you the New York Times version of this story. Oh, please, God, don't tell me I lost it.
I can print it if you need it.
No, I got it. Is this it? Is this it?
Is it right there?
Oh, please, this is it. This is the New York Times. The headline is "Liberal White Dudes Rally for Harris." It's like a rainbow of beige. A huge video call for self-professed white dudes for Harris showed the breadth of Democratic support for her candidacy and the ways the party is learning to make fun of itself. Now, I ask any reasonable soul in the country, would this be the way the New York Times would have handled white dudes for Trump? John, would this be the way the New York Times would have?
But after you told me you were going to talk about this, I went and looked it up. There are numerous groups for both candidates with the same kind of name.
Yeah.
Latino Americans for Trump, Black Voices for America for Trump.
Yeah,
Black
that's
Americans
just
for
an
Trump.
answer to.
Blacks for Trump. There are numerous ones for Harris, also Latino men for Kamala, South Asian men for Harris, white women answer the call for Harris, win with black women for Harris.
Are there liberal white dudes for Trump?
Why would there be liberal white
Well, are there
dudes for Trump?
conservative white dudes for Trump?
Most of the wouldn't you
that
say
I'm
most
aware
of his
of.
voting base is
I
white
was going to
guys?
say it would
I
seem
think
obvious.
you're all missing the point.
No,
The New
I
York
think you
Times-
I
are
get your
actually.
point.
No, actually, I'm not. The New York Times agenda would have them affirming anything any Democrat would do. And now, so
Absolutely.
even liberal white dudes rallying for Harris meets their approval, and they pass it off as the Democrats are learning how to have fun with themselves. All I'm suggesting is they would have had a different reaction if there was a group called conservative white dudes for Harris. That's all I'm suggesting. The reaction would have been completely different.
For Trump, you mean?
I'm sorry, for Trump.
I think it would depend on who, if there were famous people involved, who those people were. I mean, if it's going to be David.
Look,
David
you can
Duke or
argue with me
whatever.
all day long, but I'm not going to change my opinion of. I know how the New York Times operates, and had there been conservative white dudes for Trump, you would not have had this pie in the sky reaction to it.
Well, if you want the proper reaction, look up to see if the Times, if they've even bothered to acknowledge it, how the Times have responded to black people for Trump or Latinos for Trump.
I doubt if they're acknowledging it, but I have not looked it up.
Right. And I agree, they probably have not acknowledged it, but that's what the group is an answer to. And it'd be pretty easy to pick the white guys from Hollywood from Trump. It would be Rob Schneider, right? There's a few other noisy conservatives. James
Woods.
Yeah, Woods.
Tim
Ted.
Dillon.
Dylan, a few other. And of course, they're roundly ridiculed, made to look ridiculous around the world. Everybody mocks them.
Over the course of the evening, speakers heard governors, senators, congressmen, actors, and singers all speaking directly to white men around the need to organize and support Kamala Harris for president. The press release said speakers spoke truthfully and honestly about the path ahead, the importance for us to connect with one another, and the important role we can play in getting other white men to turn their backs on the dangerous, dark path Donald Trump is trying to march us down. Okay. I find Harris's path just as dark and dangerous.
Okay.
So, and unfortunately, as I said, Jeff Bridges got a lot of play in this.
I'm
He's very
amazed that
photogenic.
given what you know about Jeff Bridges, or if you've read interviews with him, you actually thought he might not be a liberal.
I just thought he'd be smart enough not to do something called White Dudes for Harris.
That reminds me of people in Texas who were astonished when Willie Nelson was backing liberal candidates.
That doesn't surprise me.
Me neither, but there was a ton of people in Texas who said, I'm never listening to his music again, et cetera, because they thought he was conservative. Which, same with Jeff Bridges for me, with interviews with him, if you've ever
I guess I've read interviews with Jeff Bridges over the years, but I never picked up his political bent, which whatever.
Well, that's like your opinion,
I don't care
man.
that he's a liberal. That's fine with me. I like him as an actor.
Would you say all these people that are saying bad things, or predicting, I should say, bad things about what will happen to the country if Trump wins the election, are those based in fact, or are they based in pure speculation?
Speculation.
And if people on the Republican side say bad things about Kamala and Biden, what is that based on? That's based on what we've witnessed and what we're seeing, correct?
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, that's... Go ahead, John.
Well, we had 4 years of Trump as president, so it's not all
we
of it
did.
would be
That's
based on
why I asked the question. Yeah.
The project, is it Project 25 or 2025?
2025, yep.
I keep reading about it. The Wall Street Journal had an editorial about it yesterday. They're not nearly as frightened of it as many people. And they raised some interesting points. First of all, it's 900 pages. It's a wish list by conservatives. It's a wish list for the government. And it's 900 pages. And one point they made is, what are the odds that Trump's going to read that? Zero. He governs on this by the seat of his pants. He governs from moment to moment. And no one, this is either good or bad, no one can tell him what to do.
Right.
So,
or you have to do the opposite, and he'll.
The only thing I disagree with so far in Project 2025 is the enlistment of people to work for the government who only express fealty to Trump. I can't go with that. That really isn't what it says in 2025. What they said is they want the administrative branch to have more of a say over all of the civil servants in the country. There being so many of them that often the administrative branch has no idea what they're doing.
Right.
Now, if that turns out to be they must express some sworn allegiance to Trump, I'm going to be vehemently opposed to it. But if all it is some means by which the administrative branch from here going forward has some ability to rein in and govern unelected people making rules and regulations.
You've been saying that for years.
Well, the Supreme Court just went a long way with that in telling the EPA that, or the United States, was it the Interior Department? But anyway, the U.S. Supreme Court just made an important decision saying you've overstepped your boundaries. You're not lawmakers. Congress has to do that. And Project 2025 seems to be zeroing in on that too. Again, if it turns out that it's, Maduro in Venezuela, then I'm opposed to it.
You mean military showing up so people can't vote?
Are you a Trumper? You got your little star on? No, we're not doing that. We're not doing
But we
that.
can get out there, reach out, make the case. And for one thing, don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness.
Ooh. I do shy away, Tim, from your progressive values. They're not necessarily valuable.
Another person's
They're not
neighborliness.
values. They're ideological curveballs.
Well, it's because you have white privilege.
They're the mystery, is what they are.
What I don't like about him is, I'm fine with you calling conservatives and Republicans extremists, whatever you want to do, but you need to look in the mirror and say the same thing about yourself, because that's what you are. It's just two extremes going head to head is what we've got here.
Yep.
And we just need to pick a side and plug our nose and vote for whatever. How do you want to crash into the sea in a tiny little airplane or in a fighter jet? Either way, we're going to crash it into the sea.
Neither party is what it was as recently as you pick your own time frame. What?
Right.
The mid 90s?
Yeah.
Which is recent. Neither party is the same.
I
They're not
myself
the same.
I am in fear of where the Democratic Party is taking this country, and I think the Republicans might prolong that a little bit longer than the Democrats.
You mean might forestall it a little longer?
That's a better word. Yeah.
Is that a bleep, that word?
No.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something
Think
else.
that one through.
Walz is getting a lot of credit for something. I've never seen him get credit for. I don't think he should get credit for anything. But he's getting credit now, and he's going viral because he kicked off the idea of calling Trump weird. Apparently
He's
that's
not the
considered to
first.
be so novel that he would come up with that he's being called a presumptive Democratic presidential nominee. And his presumption may be on the rise because he turns out weird is the word of the moment in the election cycle in 3 separate television interviews over the course of the last week, because he sure as hell isn't doing any work in Minnesota. Walz has described former President Donald Trump and a number of other Republicans as weird. And then they're going, wow, what? Tim came up with that. That's really great. This stuff is weird. They come across as weird, Walz said. Okay, on MSNBC. Walz, you're weird. You only appear with people who agree with you. You have no balls whatsoever.
Walz ain't got no balls.
No, you only appear with people who agree with you. And I don't think I'm stating an exaggeration there. That ain't hyperbole.
To me, he's just a fraud. He's a scam artist.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle sent us a nice long list of people from Hollywood who are Republican. Who's Gina Carano? She's an actress and producer of The Mandalorian. William Barber,
Isn't she from the fighting circuit?
John Voight, Dean Cain, Kurt Russell, Goldie's husband, Gary Sinise.
The use of weird has been analyzed, and the analysts say Walz has succeeded in labeling Trump in a new way that Democrats believe is working. This mountainous country is teetering on the pinpoint of the word weird, which is not even it's not a rare word. It's just a word. It's very common. And he's getting credit for using this as some kind of catchword that the campaign can seize onto. Maybe just the use of the word weird will elevate Tim to the VP sweepstakes.
Hey,
Take him. No, God knows what. I don't know anymore. Are we better off without him? Because then you got Goo Eyes with her earrings about the size of a
And the
1956
Trans
Volkswagen.
Lives Matter T-shirt with the knife.
Yeah.
Blood dripping from it.
What you just said there, you're absolutely right. And I've been sitting here thinking, why is he even weighing in? Because he's not going to sway any votes one way or the other. Everything he's saying is just an effort to get himself on the ticket. Because nothing he's saying and has said here in the last month is going to turn anybody's vote the other way.
I think he's going for the political record in the different number of pensions he'll receive. Because you'd have to add the VP pension, governor's pension, teacher's pension, National Guard pension. Was he in the House or the Senate in Washington?
He was in the House.
Right?
Who do you suppose
he's got that pension?
Who do you suppose is guiding him, giving him these words? Do you think it's somebody on the national level within the party saying, if you want to be on the ticket, you have to say this, this, and this? Or is it his own set of sycophants here in Minnesota that are putting these words in his mouth?
No, I think he's got. I
think it's
he's
his wife,
receiving.
Mrs. Walz?
I think he's receiving national counsel.
Are we putting the cart before the horse, though?
Yeah, Joe is.
Well, but what I'm saying is she hasn't even received the nomination, or is that just kind of a foregone conclusion?
But she'll get it. Yeah.
Harris?
The way that she's rallied the Democrats here in the past 2 weeks, she'll absolutely get it.
The horse is pushing the cart, but it's out of the barn because they left the door open and
Anyway.
outside.